Welcome back. So, our best life, how do we live it? How do we achieve it? In this episode, we're going to dive into a concept around how we can change our mindset to achieving our goals when we're working with people, personal goals, and we're going to dive into that topic. And I'm going to share a mindset and a technique that you can apply to what you're doing today. So, I'm excited to share this. It's been a hot minute since I've recorded this. I've been writing oh, chapters and chapters and chapters of this content for I would say for a book. Ultimately, if I ever release it, and I thought, why not walk some of it through on this podcast? So, welcome. The focus today is let's imagine for a moment you want to build a business or you want to experience a trip or try to challenge on an activity, or maybe you're trying to solve a crisis. And in the end of the day, you're basically trying to solve for X, right? I want to go on a trip or I want to be promoted. In all of those scenarios, right, we have to look at the greater challenge and find a way to get that result. Now, there are two mindsets here. One is people might come at you, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your own inner monologue, which might say, it's going to cost too much. We cannot build that. We cannot make this company. We cannot launch this product. We cannot have that in our lives personally. So the concept of a cost comes in as usually immediately after a great idea. Hey, we should go to the beach, or we should go visit this island. We've never done a trip before, or we should bring the family to do this, whether it's personal or business. All of these things, solving right for X or to achieve something, are there's a negative energy. There's a pushback that I always find occurs, and whether it's internal or outside. And there's a couple ways where this comes into play. And so we're going to break this down. First off, you're going to hear the challenge of resources. Now, resources aren't always money. Now, money is certainly a constraint, but there's time. There is whatever you're trying to juggle between your kids, or trying to juggle between time off with work, or you're just trying to find more hours in the day to do certain things. So the resource question does exist, but no matter what, with these resource challenges, they don't stop us from achieving our goals or to achieving a version of our goals, because resources do not guarantee success or an outcome that you want to happen. Frankly, resources only provide a way of accelerating and simplifying the hardships that you'll find when you're doing it. And I think it's important to accept and be aware, right? If you have lots of free cash in your hands, you can hire people to, build and transform your yard, or create a new product with lots of engineers. You can do all of that. And the money, that's not going to make it a success, or it's not going to make it right. It'll just make it happen faster, right? The money accelerates. You work with professionals, work with people that have already gone through and had the lessons. That's the hardships that you simplify. If you don't have those, if you have a little bit, then it'll just take longer to achieve the same outcome, right? You put in, if it takes 8 hours to do something, and somebody could do it in 8 hours at one shot, and it takes you 1 hour a day, it's going to take you 8 days to do it. It took somebody one day. But if you only have an hour a day, then you're going to achieve the same outcome. So resources and the how much question are really not something that should limit your ability when you're trying to achieve your goal and to pursue something, and trying to do, let's say, great things. That said, there is another constraint or a pushback that I feel sometimes has to do with time. Like, when can we do this? There's always this pressure around time where people might push back negatively on you and your ideas by saying, well, there's no time. We can't do it right now, or I don't have time to plan, or I don't have time to pack, or there's so many possible negative things that somebody can say, and they are negative. I'm not saying this in a harmful way or a critical way of those individuals. They are just seeing the risks and the push and the pressure in order to achieve the thing that you're thinking about. So time is a factor, but it is not a factor in limiting what is possible in the outcome. You have to work on your goal. You have to begin saving for that trip. You have to develop a relationship to get the new job. Those are all the same, right? Like time is relative in that you want to do something, you want to achieve something, you want to get something to happen. You can start right now, this second. You can pick up your phone, send a text to that person that you want to partner with. You can say yes to that side work. You can read the manual to get better at your craft and profession. Time is now, right? So we don't have time is not an answer, right? If you want to read a book, then read one page every morning when you wake up or before you go to bed. You will have read a book in a number of days. So time, again, however much time we have, the more time we have, the more we can accelerate and achieve the outcome and results possible. Some things just take more time, but time is not a constraint. Time is a fact that we have to work within. So sometimes we have to find more time to do some things and simply just accept that I'm trading this for that. So if time is not a factor in you achieving your goal, and money and resources are not a time, what is the thing we need to focus on? So it's not when and it's not with what, it's how. I need you to start thinking about, how is this possible? How can I possibly achieve my goal? How can we go on this trip? How can I launch this company? How can I get smarter? How can I be a better parent? Focus on the how. Because if you focus on the how, there's a gift that comes with it. It comes with options and a range of execution that you can implement, meaning that you can find in product world, we would call it a minimum viable product, right? So you want to have a fireplace out in the backyard. Let's just talk very simple. Okay, well, you can have a giant yard work project happen and leveling ground and installing walls and stonework and fire and all this great stuff. But maybe you can't do that today. But maybe the outcome then is to buy a nice fire pit dish that you set on the ground and get some simple chairs and you just classic wood fire. You've achieved the outcome, you get to do the experience, and you're able to work within the means and the time that you have. So that's one way of how you can achieve it. Other times, it might be, I want to take my family to Disney. Okay. Well, in 4 years, my kids will be old enough to go and enjoy it. So let's see how much money we think we're going to need. And let's save that amount of money a little bit every month. So it's over 48 months. How much do we need to save out of the total cost? That's very reasonable, right? We chip away a little bit every time. Sometimes it'll be a little tighter month. Sometimes we'll have a little more extra in the month. And either way, you're able to make it, right? So focusing on the how is going to be the unlock and this, I would say, really the path for you to achieve any goal. And if you recognize that time will just pass as you're working on it, every day, if you're working on the goal, how am I going to get promoted? How am I going to launch my business? Well, you're going to make one phone call a day, and then you're going to make another phone call. Then you're going to try to close a sale every day. You're going to improve your product every day. Maybe you work from 9:30 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. real quick and putting it together. However you do it is up to you. But focusing on the how do we make this happen? I want to have a dream vacation home or home to retire in 20 years. How do we achieve that? Well, we could buy an investment property. Sure, you can do that. But how will we afford it on our income? Well, we could rent it. We could do events, right? So the how empowers your creativity. It opens the door to more possibilities. Because what I have found as I'm brainstorming and trying to solve this, I have to find lots of paths, lots of ways to make this happen. And if I can see more paths and constantly adjust so that we're making forward progress to the goal, well, then I will achieve the goal and I will achieve the outcome. Now, what I end up with might be slightly different than what I had envisioned in the beginning. And that's beautiful. You need to have that type of, I would say, honest acceptance in that you don't know everything, right? And so you might say, I want that job, or I want to live on that street, or I want to build this business. You might get all those results exactly as you designed it. And then get there and be like, wow, like this is nice, but I really enjoyed doing this lifestyle, not crossing a finish line and being like, oh, look, I'm here. This is lovely. And because of that, you might keep going. So the goal might have been achieve that result, build that company, set a community up, save lives, whatever you're working on. But just accept and be okay that when you get there, you might just love doing it and you want to keep doing it more and more. That's the mindset you need to adapt. That's how I see success in my life and the successful people I work with. Now, there's one unlock here I want to also add at the end, just to make sure that you really have the best chance and the right mindset that builds you up. And that has to do with the people around you, meaning that I want you to really focusing on who are you surrounding yourself with in order to achieve your goal. Think about the humans that you spend time with. Are they builders? Are they dreamers and doers? Or are they more like idea people that never execute, that then complain about, well, if I had the best idea ever on that. I can't believe they did that. But if that human never did it, they never invented it, they never made it, they never tried to sell it. They just thought about it, and then they like poked fun at everybody else who had did it, or somebody stole their ideas. They didn't steal their ideas. You didn't do it. Or they did it better, or they got lucky and you gave up. Find the people around you that have built things or are building things and have the right energy. Now you're going to rotate, right? If you're building your family, you're working on family things, you're going to want probably more family people. If you're working on engineering and product, probably more engineering and product people. But have a nice sampling of people, embrace them, leverage that mind share and that energy to help you through the dark times, help you through those times where you feel like you're chipping away every day and you haven't gotten where you want to get yet. That's okay, right? And what's fun when you surround people with people like that, when you sit with them and when you spend time with them, they don't want to waste time partying or going to the bars or doing things that are not aligned and supporting their own goals. So when you get together, you're probably going to be working, brainstorming, connecting, networking, sharing ideas, collaborating, basically moving you forward towards your life goals while you support and pull each other up. So this is how we make our best life, by seeing our goals, building our goals, and finding out ways on how we can accomplish it by taking daily action. I can't stress this enough. I think this is going to really help you. I really hope you think about the people in your life that need your voice to help them kind of push along and hit their goals. And for the things that you're working on, focus on your to-do list. Focus on you doing the things that you need done, bit by bit, brick by brick, and build it up. And that's how you'll build your best life. Personal health, mental health, your business, your projects, your community. Do all things. I wish all the best for you, and I hope you have fun working on your goals, and keep at it. Until next time.